Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, I'm so excited. You get to see the next part of my sit down with John Witherspoon. We had so much fun talking through all the Harry and Meghan drama, getting his takes on things, and really just everything from Andrew and Fergie and Harry and Meghan's behavior and how King Charles is handling it and Prince William and everybody. So we really go into a lot of good stuff here. Make sure you check out all of our parts to this sit down because we really had a lot of fun talking this stuff out. And again, thank you so much to John Witherspoon for taking your time with us, answering our questions, and just being so thoughtful about everything. Make sure you give him a follow. He's at Witherspoon DC over on Instagram. And as soon as he makes any kind of announcements about starting up a channel, I will for sure let you know. Thank you so much. The next topic I wanted to talk about with you is I'm always fascinated with psychology and personality and that sort of thing. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just talk about, again, their public behavior and personality. So, I mean, you just brought up that you kind of led into it with Harry's acting like a 19-year-old. I couldn't agree more. He seems emotionally stunted. Something you talk about a lot is what is it? Emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You bring that up a lot. I think you're so onto something there. I often talk about Meghan's lack of charisma. She struggles to, well, I'm just talking in general terms, and please jump in with your thoughts. But it's just like all of her projects are failing hard, and I suspect a lot of it has to do with her lack of charisma. She really does suck the life out of people and doesn't give anything back. And in the position she's tried to take on, such as interviewing people or just having conversations with people, you just get nothing out of her. What are your thoughts in general on this?
I would have to agree. And a real good example of that, I think, it's not directly related to charisma, but it's just an indication of her interpersonal skills or lack thereof. When she was at the bookstore event recently, and her friend sitting next to her, started to talk, and she was holding the microphone in her hand, but she had the microphone down on her knee. And Meghan's solution to that situation was to grab the person's wrist and elevate their wrist so that they were holding the mic in the proper position.
Right.
I think that was very instructive of, again, the way that Meghan's my way or the highway kind of, here's how I'm going to solve this problem. I think most people would have said, again, it's like just to lean over and say, you got to hold the mic up. You got to put the mic up by your mouth.
Right.
And and yet that was not Meghan's solution. Meghan's solution was to forcibly do something. It almost had the same vibe to it as when she was up in Canada and there was a disabled woman in the wheelchair and she wanted that woman to be in a different position. And granted, there's a special deference that's normally given to disabled people. But I think the common thread there is the control freak aspect of it. I'm going to solve this problem without regard to the person's feelings or the sensitivities of the other person. I'm just going to ram this solution through.
Yeah.
And I think that is, again, very instructive about the way that Meghan's mind works and her approach to problems. And again, back to the situation of the staff turnover and so forth. I think she probably tries to ram things through with her staff.
You're right.
You didn't answer my email. I sent you an email at 5:15 this morning. You did not answer immediately. What is wrong with you? You need to, the same type of scenario. It's just not the way. It's just not the way the world gets things done.
It's really not. I agree completely. It's rude. I find it rude the way she did it. She did the same thing in Colombia. It strikes me. She was on a panel They were just sitting and talking, and she decided she was hot. She was one of, I don't know, 4 women, something like that. Got up in the middle of the panel, walk over, clicked on some air thing, came, sat back down, and was like, sorry, but it's hot. Fine, but there's ways to handle that, not making it about yourself, not interrupting the flow, and not just, I mean, there might be noise problems. There might be reasons why they're not running it. It's the same thing. Yeah. You don't have to pick up your friend's hand. You can just say, hey, John, they might not be able to hear you correctly. Whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Use the mic. Use the mic. You hear that all the time. You hear that all the time when people are speaking on panels, or, they're up on the dais and there are all these people, and, somebody will start talking. It won't be handled properly by the PA system.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just says, you got to use the mic.
Yeah.
Use the mic. Here's the other thing too. We talked about this offline, Jen. The Paul Newman situation with all the food that Paul Newman has.
Yeah.
And I can't stress this enough. I remember when Paul Newman, or I don't know when it was, if it was when he started with his salad dressing, or if it was when I first became aware of it. It's not really relevant. The bottom line is, though, here's a very likable person for the most part. You don't hear a lot of people talking smack about Paul Newman. Pretty good guy by most people's accounts. He's got name. He has positive name recognition and huge amounts of both of those, the positivity and the recognition. You're in the grocery store, lo and behold, here's some salad dressing, or salad cream, as they would call it in the UK, on the shelf, and it's got Paul Newman's picture on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's any good. And then you pick up the bottle and you look at it and you see all proceeds go to charity.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. What's not to like?
That's right.
And by the way, I came in here, the reason I'm even thinking about this, the reason is I needed salad dressing. That's why I went down this aisle in the grocery store to begin with. So with all of that, and maybe it's on sale too, you know how it works. But with all of that as background, why would you not? I think I'll give this a try. And then guess what? You served it to your kids, and they said, "Wow, this is good salad dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get this again? What other flavors do they have?"
Yeah.
And so, and it built and built and built. And I think now he does frozen pizza, and I don't know what else.
Uh-huh.
But the bottom line is, again, you compare and contrast that to what Meghan is doing.
Yeah, sure.
Why would I buy something that has Meghan Markle's name, assuming I've heard of Meghan Markle in the first place? Mm-hmm. And then if I had heard of Meghan Markle, I like Meghan Markle, said not a lot of people ever. Mm-hmm. And then maybe this is good stuff, but where does the money go? Is it going to go to summer camp for orphans?
Right. Mm-hmm.
No, it's going to go into her pocket. And well, what do we know about Meghan? Oh, well, yeah, she's the one that puts on a dress that costs $10,000 and parades around with it.
Why are these unholy expensive and jacked up in price? Paul Newman seems a reasonable price point versus,
Yes, of course. So anyway, it is such an interesting scenario to hold up to Meghan and to say, here's one that really works like gangbusters, and then here's one that nobody really knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. But if people had to guess, they would probably say, again, as Brittany on Royal News Network always says, that this is a marketing and entrepreneurial train wreck. Yeah. In the opinion of a lot of people. It really is. It really is. And we were talking before about the king's health and the pope's health, and you never really know when things are going to come all crashing down. I think the same thing is true of Meghan and Harry's finances. Mm-hmm. We don't know that they got $100 million from Netflix. Sure. Assuming that was the number that was tossed out, I'm sure there was a lot of contingency involved in that in terms of ratings and hours watched and all this kind of stuff. But even let's assume they did get $100 million. They're paying a boatload for security. They're paying a boatload for utilities on their house. They're paying a boatload for private jets at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 an hour to fly here and there and everywhere. on a Gulf Stream or what, whatever it is that they're flying around on. We have no idea. So the point also being, if her products are not really selling terribly well, at what point are her suppliers going to say, you know what, the supply ain't supplying.
Yeah, agree.
We're not going to be able to do this anymore. This is a shaky financial proposition for us. We're not going to extend you credit. I'm just saying. I'm not saying any of that is happening. I'm saying
right.
entirely within the realm of possibility.
Sure.
In the same way that we could wake up tomorrow, no more King Charles, God forbid, or we could wake up 6 or 8 years from now and say, "Oh gosh, poor guy." Same thing is true with Meghan's finances and Harry's finances.
Sure.
And I think, though, in reading the tea leaves, you look at his apparent obsession with having government-funded, taxpayer-funded security.
Yeah.
One of the driving forces behind that could certainly be, this is damn expensive. We can't keep this up forever.
Usually staff turnover can point to that as well. Like the revolving door of staff can point to that as well.
Yes.
Another point that you made that I got to give you credit for, as much as it pains me. I thought it was such a good point. You brought up Meghan's fortune cookie philosophy. Can you talk to us about her fortune cookie philosophy? Because I just thought that was such a great way to explain it. That's it.
Well, so much of what she says, when it's not just word salad, to use a phrase that's wearing on me very quickly, because it's being applied to several people repeatedly. But when Meghan says something that actually gets above and beyond the word salad, it's what I call fortune cookie philosophy. Things like, it's not the size of the fight it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Hooray! Brilliant.
Right.
Work hard, play hard. Don't sweat the details, or do sweat the detail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just these
things we've all heard a million times in a million ways. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And to go back to what we were talking about before, these, Harry getting up, giving a speech about online, protection for children, or, the evils of AI, whatever it is. Children are our most precious resource.
Right.
How many times have we heard that? But yet he says it in a way that it is supposed to be earth-shaking.
Right.
Wow, I got to lie down. I mean, this is too much to comprehend. And she's the same way. It's just this drivel and this. And I question whether there are people who actually listen to this or think it's profound, or they just assume it's profound because Meghan is the person who said it, or Harry is the person who said it.
Right.
But when you really peel back the layers and say, okay, well, what are the key concepts in these allegedly profound statements that Harry and Meghan make? You just and it's like, oh well, like Meghan saying, "Oh, I had to go back to California. I think after Paris, did you go straight to New York and then to Washington or whatever?" It's like, no, I had to go back to California because I had to see my babies. I love my babies so much. Well, you want to, like Chris Rock would say, you want a cookie? You love your children? Wow.
That's right.
Again, I need to lie down. This is too overwhelming.
Exactly.
I can't see straight. I'm blown away by this.
Such words. Yeah.
Right. And you just, again, you get back to into your own head and you think, are there people who are actually thinking about this and thinking to themselves, wow, this is deep stuff?
Yeah.
Or is it just a question of, oh, well, Meghan said it. She must know what she's, everybody loves Meghan. We love Meghan.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we were talking also about Drew Barrymore before. When
Yeah.
Meghan went on to Drew Barrymore's show, and if you've ever been in an audience on a TV show, nothing ever happens in a vacuum. I say nothing. There are times when an audience will spontaneously laugh at something that is said by a guest or the host. Okay, fine. But as far as these avalanches of applause that take place, like when Meghan walked through the doors and there's all this, huge, huge applause. Well, if you've ever been in a TV studio for a show taping like that, there are these giant lights up above that are flashing applause, 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 applause. And there are people up at the front, the producers and the floor managers that are jumping up and down saying, clap, 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 more, 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 more. And it's the same thing as the time that they walked into, all I can remember was the theater was red, scarlet red. And they walked in late and there was all this applause. And the allegation was that they were convinced that people were applauding for them.
Yes.
And in reality, and there's even a woman over one of their shoulders that looked at her husband and said, they think the applause is for them. And it turned out, I think, what was really going on was that the conductor had just stepped up on the podium in the orchestra pit, or somebody had walked out on stage, or something was going on, but they were convinced that it was all for them. Same thing on Drew Barrymore. I bet that when Meghan walked through those doors at the back of the studio and made her way down to the stage, she was probably convinced, these people love me. And not only that, these people are placeholders for everybody else in the world that really loves me.
Right. Exactly. Sure.
So anyway.
I have 2 points on that. I'm about to burst. One, that you described as my
don't do that. We need Jen. We need you.
No, that's my all-time favorite thing I ever covered, and I've covered it like 3 times in the history of my channel because I keep going back to it. So when they walked into that theater and they were late and everybody applauded, that was my favorite thing. I can tell you what it was. It was military bands performing, and the conductor was out on stage.
Yeah.
Like honoring the people. Those idiots walk in and assume it's for them. And they're like, and everybody around them is like, what the hell?
Yeah. You've just saved, I could hear, in my head, the keyboards.
Oh, yeah.
Going in the comments. That was at the blah, blah. So you've just saved all this. They're grateful to you.
Go back and watch the 3 videos on this. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I did. I recapped it twice on my own, and I got Dylan in for one of them, and we really dove in. It was so many crazy things that happened that night. And Meghan got mad at Harry allegedly, because he realized it wasn't for him quicker than she did. So she's just standing there like,
right.
And he's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So in the car on the way home is when we got that.
Oh, that's the when she makes the.
Because she thought the windows were blacked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even make my face make that bad of a scowl. It's just, yes. And he's just like,
right.
So that's the first thing that I was about to burst on. The second thing I really want to say goes back into your original point on this fortune cookie philosophy. And it's this. I'm obsessed with psychology. There is a trick in psychology when you're trying to get your audience to buy into what you're saying, to give them very easy yeses. So I believe that's what she does. Who wants, if you hear them say, we want to protect children online, who's going to disagree with that? Of course, we all want to protect children online.
Yes. Yes.
See, you're doing it now. Yes. Yes. I want to do that too. I don't care if Harry and Meghan saying it. I want to do that too. But then you start diving in and you start to realize, wait, that's not what they're doing. They're trying to silence critics. My point is, I believe when she does these fortune cookie philosophies, she's hoping for the easy psychological trick of yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Meghan. Yes, you're right. Children are our future. I'm going to quote the Whitney Houston song. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And it's almost a Jedi mind trick. These are not the boys we're looking for.
That's it. That's
It,
it.
it, it really is. You don't need to see his papers. You don't
That's
need to see
right.
his papers.
That's right.
Carry
Well,
on.
you said it with
Move
conviction.
along.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. I believe you.
right.
And see, now I'm agreeing with you. The world's gone mad.
Yeah, right, right. And credit where it's due.
Mhm,
That approach to trying to convey information or trying to convince people
mhm,
is probably fairly effective for a certain component, for certain number of people in the audience.
mhm.
Like you
Sure.
said, the head bobbers. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Right.
And then it's the last thing is, oh, and buy my candle too. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Right. And
right,
yet that would be an easy tie-in for her that she's missing, and that's exactly ties back into your Paul Newman point. Why doesn't she say the purchase of every candle will help 3 children be safe online? Whatever, because
right.
it's just not,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely true.
That's called
Absolutely true.
full circle, baby. Yeah.
And look. Here's the other thing about it. That's so. And again, this contributes to the amazing aspect. This is why it's so compelling to watch this. What people want to watch you and all the and Taz and Cheer, Denise, and all these other people talking about all this stuff constantly. The reason it's so compelling is that it's just mind blowing that she can't figure it out. Paul Newman is one of any number of people. Again, Kevin Costner with his business out on his
Mhm.
at his ranch in California. Who doesn't want to support the fire department
That's
and
right.
the sheriff's department? And
Uh-huh.
maybe some people don't, but
Right.
neither here nor there. The bottom line is we're going to do something to make the world a better place.
That's Dolly Parton has great products, right? I believe, and
She does. I'm a big fan.
always helping charity. That's right.
Well, but and even if she's lining her own pocket
Uh-huh.
through the proceeds of her stuff, nobody ever has an unkind thing to say about Dolly Parton. When
That's
I first saw her products in the freezer at the grocery store, I first of all thought, well, I've been looking for a cheesecake pie or whatever it is, and I don't have anything bad to say about Dolly Parton. And oh, by the way, it's on sale for $3 off.
mhm.
Yeah, why not? I'll give it a shot. Well, guess what? Here I am. I mean, I don't know how many of those things I've bought, maybe 10 of them since I
Uh-huh.
first tried them.
3
But
weeks ago? Yes.
yeah, right. I'm a happy repeat customer.
That's good.
And you don't hear those stories. Why? This is the other thing that's interesting. Why are there no product reviews on Megan's As Ever website?
That's true.
The whole rest of the world,
Mhm.
hotels. This is my husband and I came here for our second honeymoon. We had the most magical time. The staff was terrific. The food was fantastic. We slept like, this is the world's greatest mattress.
Yeah.
Um, why are there no product reviews? Why are the comments so often turned off
Mhm.
on why was it such a source of amazement that when the trailers dropped on YouTube for her cooking show, one of the most upvoted comments was, the real miracle here, or the real amazing thing here, is that Netflix left the comments on. What
Yeah.
legends? What legends? The people at Netflix, they left the comments on.
Mhm.
You know,
Point.
and
Yeah.
but as I said, you never see any. What's the feedback on her stuff?
Mhm. Thank you so much for watching this part of the sit down with John Witherspoon, friend of the channel. He's wonderful, isn't he? He's so great at answering our questions and really talking through all this stuff. I'm really enjoying this sit down, and I hope you are too. Make sure you give him a follow. He's at Witherspoon DC on Instagram. And as soon as he makes any kind of announcement about starting a channel, well, we will all be the first to sign up and follow him for that. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Make sure you leave him your lovely comments, and I'll make sure that he knows that they're there for him to read. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you have the best day. I can't wait to bring you the next part of this. Take care. Bye bye.